Hey everyone, I'm Vivian Yip. I've been hosting midterm rental stays now for just about 5 years now, and I've learned a lot of things along the way, and I want to share a few hot tips with you today. So, the title of today's workshop slash video is three of the costliest mistakes that hosts can make when transitioning into midterm rentals. So, number one, failing to identify the ideal guest profile. So many hosts are jumping into the midterm rental space without really understanding who the target audience is. They're catering to everybody and everyone, and you really need to know how to optimize your listing to attract those long stays. For example, we have an area here in Taylor, Texas, which is about 45 minutes east of Austin. There's a huge construction project over there. And there's a lot of demand for housing. But you can't just have a three-bedroom house with queen beds in there because those construction teams are often traveling in groups of, 4 to 6 people. And a lot of them don't mind sharing a room. They just need a roof over their heads after a long day. So in that case, a three-bedroom house usually doesn't work. You might want to have a four-bedroom house and each room have a full-size bed. That way, two adults can comfortably share a room. That way you can totally maximize your income that way. Another thing is I have a two-bedroom, two-bath duplex, and I learned the hard way that they don't want to have two twin beds in there. In fact, once I switched out the two twin beds and I made it into two queen beds, I actually got more professionals traveling together. So don't make the mistake I did. I'm not saying that all two bedrooms should be queen size beds. I'm just saying, like my property, it's an urban property, it's close to the city. We have a lot of professionals in that area. So I was attracting the wrong guests. I was thinking that it was a family avatar, when in fact I should have been traveling or I should have been targeting people with, two professionals coming together. So why is it also costly? Because you're spending the wrong time marketing to the wrong people, and you've also missed opportunities to market to the right people. So make sure you research your market, identify the demand. Are they traveling nurses, maybe insurance clients, or corporate relocations? Make sure you understand who you're marketing to. And then customize amenities and your listing script descriptions for these specific groups. So if you're traveling nurses are your main target, then in your listing description, make sure you have the number of minutes and miles from your property to the nearest 5 hospitals or facilities that hire travel nurses. With insurance clients, I know a lot of families that I host, they're often wanting to know what schools or what school district. So that's always helpful to have in your listing as well. And then customize your amenities for these groups. So if you're marketing to travel nurses, they might want to have a desk in each of the rooms. That way they can have their personal things or laptop, a little workspace in the privacy of their own room. Whereas maybe if you're hosting a family, having a universal office doesn't matter so much. The second mistake is, and I did this in the beginning too, so there's no judgment here. I'm just saying that I've learned a lot over the last 5 years, is underpricing or overpricing long stays. So underpricing, I know so many hosts that will just keep one flat rate throughout the year. And that is not a really good strategy for your business because if you think about it, hotels are offering different prices during the holidays, like July 4th or Memorial Day or even Labor Day, Christmas, New Year's Eve, Thanksgiving. And those guys are charging premium rates for those dates. And you might be charging premium rates, or your cleaners might be charging premium rates to work on those dates. So why wouldn't you? So I like using a dynamic pricing tool that helps me understand how the pricing is moving in my market. And that helps me gauge where I should be, and then I take a discount off that price. The other thing is a lot of people in the short-term rental space are totally overpricing their long stays. They're not taking into account that your typical long stay guest is not going to pay those short-term rates. Those short-term premiums are usually, 50 to 80, maybe even double what your normal rates should be. Whereas the long stay guest, I would say, depending on your market, but in my experience, usually there is a 20 to 22% discount off an STR rate. So when you're overpricing, you're driving away those budget conscious long stay guests. If you're underpricing, you're going to eat into your profits and you're leaving money on the table, especially like utility costs, because if you're keeping a flat rate and your utility costs go sky high in the summer, you're not going to be able to recover that money very easily. So use a pricing tool. I use Wheelhouse, but you can use Pricelabs and have that tool help you adjust to those trends. Those tools are looking at and seeing what other Airbnbs are doing, what other VRBOs are doing, and what hotels are also doing in the area. And offer discounts for 30 days and more, but make sure you add a utility cap in your listing description and your renter's agreement so you can avoid those overages or at least reserve the right to charge back those guests. And then finally, this is the most important thing that a lot of people that are hosting in midterm rentals are not doing, is that they're neglecting legal and rental agreements. So in most counties, the definition is usually a short-term rental or a long-term rental. In legal terms, there's no such thing as a midterm rental. What that means is once you start hosting at the 28-day or 30-day mark, and this may be different depending on whether you're depending what how your county defines it, right? So you need to have a legal document that many hosts are overlooking. You need a lease. And if you're not collecting a lease on every extended stay, actually, I collect leases or renters agreements on short stays as well, every single one. It doesn't matter if it's VRBO or Airbnb and whatnot. You need to have this document because you're going to need it if you ever have to evict. Why is it costly? Because you can end up having risk of disputes, damages, or people overstaying their welcome. And you'll have a ton of legal exposure if this is not clearly defined. So have a rental agreement that clearly outlines the guest responsibilities, what their length of stay is, and what the cleaning fees are, and if there's any utility caps, as I mentioned. Use digital tools to help make it easier for you, like HelloSign or DocuSign, so that you can manage these extensions really easily. So by avoiding these pitfalls, you'll be better, much better positioned to attract quality guests, protect your investments, and maximize your revenue. There's nothing worse than bad guests or when you can't recover the funds. So if you would like help creating a checklist or you want some more insights, please feel free to join my Facebook group, Midterm Rental Wealth with Vivian Yip, and I will see you there. Thanks so much.